Good morning, V Suresh sir. Welcome for this wonderful webinar on NBCS 2026. And as the audience, most of the people are from the construction industry. They wanted to know about what is the significant changes happened. Today, we welcome Mr. V Suresh sir, Chairperson for NBC 2026. And he is instrumental in bringing a lot of changes in the NBCS according to the various needs. And he has tirelessly worked for NBC 2016 also and earlier versions also. And he's having vast experience in the building construction. And on behalf of CMTI, welcome you for this online podcast. So you can update about what are the changes recently happened and what is the need for the changes. Over to you, Suresh sir, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, AshoK Kumar, and to all your distinguished audience who are representing the construction industry in general and built environment in particular, and with architects, engineers, planners, developers, MEP specialists from all over the country. I'm very happy to address you. I'm very happy this question by Ashok is an important one. The National Building Code of India is one of the most important guiding document for the country to deal with the building construction industry on planning, design, construction, installation, including maintenance and assets and facility management in a large way. And therefore, that document from 1970 version went through 83 version, then the 2005 version and 2016 version. It's a 2016 version of the document that has now been there, which is now amended through work of 1,300 members on the guiding committee of the National Building Code, NBC committee, sectional committee, and 23 expert panels have worked on that, and they have really come out with a wonderful document. And this has been under discussion at various levels, including government at the highest level, the Cabinet Secretariat, the Niti Aayog, etc., wherein points of view from the industry of all types of industry have been also taken into account by them. Then based on that, they have finally decided to have the National Building Code of India, the 2016 version being changed now to the National Building Construction Standards. As you would see on the screen there, NBC becomes NBCS 2026. That will give an indication. That means the stress on the code as a word has been removed, and as a important guiding standard is a major thrust area in the whole code. That's what the government at the highest level wanted. This because construction and buildings are state subjects. Each state have got their own regulatory environment to deal with their rules and regulation, deal with that. So NBC, as always, has been a guiding document which can be used as a guideline, which can, for the sake of either writing or rewriting or revising their existing documents which regulate construction activity in all our cities, towns, and villages. So you would see that the whole content on the screen that you see, you will see that you will have a chapter on introduction, which is called the Part A. Part A is called the introduction chapter, which will cover all important information regarding the permissions needed, and also more importantly, qualifications and competence of all the professionals, be it civil engineers, architects, town planners, structural engineers, mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineers, fire protection engineers, urban designers, landscape architects, all the professionals. What should be the one is a very important one. Their own competence level is also retained, which is originally there in the Part 2 of the National Building Code. That all comes under the introductory chapter of the National Building Code, the new National Building Construction Standards. NBCS is a new word there. That will take us to the next component, which is called the Part B, and all issues regarding the building materials are covered there, which is the earlier Part 5 of the NBC 2016, covering all different types of building materials that are going into it, in terms of specifications, in terms of quality, in terms of It's primarily based on the Indian standards dealing with steel, cement, stone, lime, paint, floor of tiles, etc., electrical items, everything that goes into the building over there. It could be around 1,200 items that go into the building over there. All the materials and the items and components required for construction, structural, non-structural, finishing and service items all go into the building material. Plus also opportunity for the provisions of the NBC providing for all new materials and construction systems, which are very, very important. That will lead us to part C, which is most important one. And that particular part C is called the structural design. The earlier part 6 of the National Building Code is part C. And that will cover exactly the same way as NBC 2016 had covered over there, to an engineer, a structural engineer, an architect, everybody who deals with the design of the building for India's different geoclimatological conditions, be it on earthquake or landslide or wind loading, etc., etc. The coastal region, about 7,000 kilometers area, all the effects on loads, forces, and effects are covered in part 6 structural design. A very, very important component is covered in this particular segment there. And we are covered in the same way of sections. Various sections are similarly as per the earlier one. Section 1 is on the loads and effects. Loads and effects are a very important component there. Load effects. And that will cover all types of loading coming on. The word forces were there earlier, but it's taken as load. Seismic load, wind load, dead load, live load, etc., etc., etc. That will bring us to the whole aspect. The maps of India based on the latest ones are also covered on the present situation. For all these forces are covered there. Soils and foundations are important. Section 2 dealing with all types of foundation design. The geotechnical engineer is also an important component. We are brought into the particular system on that. And we are very happy that in addition to the other professionals, this is also covered in the section 1, the part 1 on introduction also, the geotechnical engineer. They play a very, very important role there. Then they will get on to the building material, the design based on timber and bamboo, which are section 3, covered again into 3A and 3B on timber and bamboo. Section 4 is on masonry. Section 5 is on structural concrete. This is important because reinforced concrete, pre-stressed concrete, and other concrete are combined together as what is called structural concrete. It's a very important one. Namely, IS 456 and IS 1343 are combined together to deal with the concrete as an important one. Section 6 is steel and composite construction. Composite construction is added for the first time. Steel alone, concrete alone, steel and concrete together is composite construction. So 6A is steel, 6B is composite construction, structural steel and concrete. Section 7 continues to prefabricated concrete construction, and that's an important component for India's rising demand for precast construction in a large way. And Section 8 is structural glazing, called glass and glazing. All these parts together, namely Part A, introduction, Part B, building materials, and Part 6, structural design in Section 1 to 8 is covered in the volume number 1. That will bring us to the next particular component of the document, and that will be getting on to the issue on the Part D. After C, Part D. Volume 2 starts here. Very, very important part. It's a part on building services. All the building services, section 1 on lighting and ventilation, both natural as well as artificial, and ventilation is natural ventilation. Then electrical and allied installations, very, very important. The electrical engineers will come into it in a big way. The next one is section 3 on air conditioning, heating, and mechanical ventilation. Mechanical ventilation, which was originally there in section 1, is now covered together in this particular component there. So therefore, you would see all the MEP engineers will be coming in a very large way. Mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire, etc., will come in a large way. That will take us to the next section on acoustics as well as sound installation, noise control, section 4. And section 5 is installation of lifts, escalators, moving walks, and power-driven parking system. Very important. So you have one section, we have 3 sections available. Earlier was 2 there. So one is on lifts, second one is escalators and moving walks, and the third one is power-driven parking system. That was not there earlier. That has been added. And that will bring us to the section 6, which is all the ICT component, installation or the information and communication enabled installation. When all buildings require to be wired in terms of whether the network to be done, whatever, not only in the main road you require, within the building you require, and in every room space you require that access there. And that's a very important without which no activity can take place anywhere in the world. So therefore we added that portion over there as part of the services. It's called the information highway to be coming into that particular thing. That will take us to part E on the plumbing services, including solid waste management. Why I'm doing it separately is because plumbing, the moment you think it's all pipe related work, but it covers, as rightly said, section 1 on water supply, section 2 on drainage and sanitation, section 3 on solid waste management, all grades of it, and section 4 on gas supply. So therefore, these 4 sections in part E becomes important. Exactly similar to part 9, plumbing services of the National Building Code 2016 version. So therefore, part 8 is equivalent to part D in the new one. Part 9 is equivalent to now in part E in the section. And structural design part 6 is equal to part C. I hope it's now getting clear. Then came to the most important one, the issue on fire and life safety. Previously, that is part 4 of the National Building Code. You remember? But fire and life safety is an issue which will combine all these put together. Namely, you'll have issues on fire covered in electrical installation, in air conditioning, in lifts and escalators, and also in the other related services that comes over there. And therefore, this now covered, which was part 4 earlier, is now covered as part F, fire and life safety, very importantly. So therefore, that contents have been expanded in a very large way. Today is not the day when I can talk. These are days where you require 1 day of a seminar on the National Building Construction Standards document over there, NBCS over there, and for each of the part and section you would require maybe 1 hour to 1.5 hours details over there. But if you ask anything specific, I'll be able to clarify that. And therefore, you will also have, as against the part 1, which is the definition one, we have covered at the end of it an index covering all the terms which are coming there. So that's important because all the parts and sections. So effectively, you'll see how the contents have been now regrouped to cover that. Of course, there are certain gaps. You yourself must have noticed that, that as and when I'll try to clarify that, what's going to happen to those particular parts there. So then, Ashok, that in a nutshell is the NBCS 2026 in place of the NBC 2016 version. Okay, that's I just thought I'll put that as a first line information on that. It's already come into effect from the 31st of March 2000. It has come into effect from the 31st of April. From 1st of May onwards, the document is already in operation. It's already notified in the government gazette.
Yes, sir. It is available in online also, and many people downloaded the document.
The whole document can be downloaded, is available online to cover part ABC in volume 1 and part DEF in part 2. So 2 comprehensive volumes are covering that. So that will give a good idea. Ashok, would that be good enough, or is there something else you would like to have more information?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Little bit more information about the seismic zones. If you highlight how it is going to.
Well, that's all covered.
There is no change.
No. There was change. If you ask me a question, no change, I can't say that. It had a change because IS 1893 is the mother document for the seismic zone, which was covered in IS 1893, and that version got revised to 2025 version, IS 1893. So the NBC content also got in line with that particular thing there. But there was a difficulty in the Government of India and All India level decision because the new zone 6 as against 5 zones created a little problem, especially northeastern region, hill areas like Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, etc. So for the time being, the operation of that particular amendment that's coming over there is kept under consideration, and therefore the version of the earlier version of 1893 or whatever is covered in the NBC earlier of 5 zones continues to be there. Okay, and it's a matter of time. A few more months, the concerned committees are working into that, and I'm sure you'll get the latest version coming at the earliest part of that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And one more thing, thanks for your clarification, sir. And one more thing, I recently read that asset management and then the sustainability and all other some of the components like outdoor structures, all this thing is separated. And it will be
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know. I should have said that. No, this is an important area. Now that you ask me specifically in so many words, Part 7, construction practice and safety, construction management and safety is a very, very important thing for the construction engineer at site there. And part 10 is the landscaping and outdoor display structures, and part 11 was sustainability, and part 12 is assets and facility management. The view of the government of India at the highest level, when I mean highest level, I'm talking about the cabinet secretariat as well as the Niti Aayog. They have decided that it need not be part of the National Building Code or the National Building Construction Safety Standards, NBCS. It need not be part of the NBCS. Bring it as an adjunct volume. Whatever contents are decided upon in Part 7, Part 10, Part 11, and Part 12 regarding construction practice, management, and safety, the landscaping and outdoor display structures, approach to sustainability, and assets and facility management will immediately come out as an adjunct volume. Very, very shortly, you will see, just like the main code has already come in 2 volumes, I'm sure that will become maybe as a 3rd document covering all these parts as adjunct documents to the main NBCS. That's the situation on there.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks for your clarification. One more request, sir. Actually, I am closely working with the engineering colleges of where the civil engineering and architectures are there. And many institutions, they are not having this NBCS knowledge. Either in their curriculum, it is not there, and how it can be made it mandatory so that they will understand like this one document is available.
Yeah. Mandatory is an issue which the All India Council of Technical Education, I had a discussion with the chairman, and Sitaramji is very keen that it should be included, green buildings also to be included as part of the syllabi. And I think they are already working on large number of faculty development courses are being done towards that. But it should be included, and all the students should get a good exposure on the not only up to NBC 2016, but the new NBCS, National Building Construction Standards document 2026 should have a good exposure to all the students, either in the 3rd year, 2nd year, 3rd year, and 4th year of the engineering or even architectural courses. They are required to be given a correct exposure to deal with them. I am totally with you on that.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you for this. And one more sub question is, sir, current ongoing projects, because this is affected from 30th April, you mentioned. So the ongoing projects, how it will affect this NBCS 2026?
Always the provisions are there. From the date a new document comes over there, the provisions, the new provisions will come into operation. But if it is on the drawing table, you can design. If there's something issue related design, something issue related to provisioning or detailing, etc. If some marginal changes are to be done, like for example on fire safety and related one, some changes would be there. I'm sure they will be easily able to incorporate the changes coming. So it'll be good. It'll be good for you to, because if the real construction is not started over there and it is now going to only at the planning stage, design stage, you can still incorporate those particular changes to be in line with the NBCS 2020. It's only a guiding document. Now, how each state, each local body deals with that is a different issue. That's one of the reasons why Part 2 and Part 3 of the NBC was not included here. But they felt that the local building bylaws and development control rules and planning standard dealing with lands, open spaces, front open space, side open space, rear, heights of building, etc., and the other requirements of a building permit requirement, excepting for the qualification aspects of that. And we have retained the issue on structural audit, we have issued fire audit, as well as the electrical audit as an important requirement, and reviews coming. Those which are there in part 2 of the NBC originally, now those particular things are retained over there. And another most important thing is, since you are addressing structural engineers, while part 6, section 1 to 8 contains very comprehensive requirements there, and we want structural engineers with qualifications to deal with that. Normal engineers up to certain heights and area they can do, but beyond that, structural engineers have got to come in over there with master's qualification, etc. There, we have got the design basis report added. This is a very important requirement. That means, along with the structural design, the design basis report also should be given on how did you really deal with that, so that when anybody who deals with that later or at the local body level or any other level, if the design goes for a peer group clearance or especially multi-story building, larger heights, etc., there are special committees available. This design basis report will be, structural design basis report would be of great help. We have made a mention of that in both in the introduction chapter as well as in the part 6 structural design. I'm glad you raised it. And those remaining aspects which are left out, which are there in part 2 and part 3, that will be brought in over a period of time as guideline standard. Because as I told, these are all local topics. Each state have got their own municipal acts and corporation acts, Panchayat Act, etc. Under which there the building bylaws, regulations, development controls brought out over there. And therefore, as a guiding one, those contents will be coming as what are called guideline standard. We'll bring it out a separate standard for those two. Okay. So effectively,
Yes.
you would see that the contents of the NBC is coming in the volume 1 and volume 2 of the National Building Construction Standards document. And we are told part 7, part 10, 11, 12 to be as adjunct volumes will be coming over there to this document. And the remaining 2 will be coming as standard guideline standards.
Guidelines. Yes, it is.
Guideline standards. Because each state or local body can use them as a guiding framework. You know what I'm trying to say? So,
Yes,
so we
yes.
don't hold up the local content. And India is such a large country of subcontinental proportions. We have about 9,300 cities there, 6.4 lakhs villages there. Each have got their own topography and the historical development issue coming on that. So therefore, we got to keep that in view, and the statute, both the 73rd and 74th amendment to the constitution, the Nagarpalika bill and the amendments which has come on the particular thing, it gives the what can I say, the right place for the local bodies and the governments to take a decision on those areas. So therefore, we do not want that to be exacting in the main NBC which was there earlier. It will now come, as I said, a guideline standard on the same topic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We understood, sir. Thanks. Actually, your talk was very much informative. Definitely more than a day, maybe 2 days workshops. If NBC is conducting, many people will get detailed knowledge about it. I'm looking forward that those programs will help many professionals and
on the concerned people dealing with different parts and saying, as I said, 1,300 professionals have worked on all the parts and sections of the 23 expert panels who dealt with that. So these people have worked very hard over the last 2 to 3 years time period, 2023, 2024, 25, to bring out this particular document. So therefore, I'm sure appropriately we should be able to associate them in programs in different parts of the country, depending on where the program is. As we have, as you rightly guessed, we have over 6,500 engineering colleges and nearly 650 architecture schools, so etc. all over the country. So we got to get the information going. We have to create a lot of awareness, a lot of appreciation, so the application becomes easier in a large way. And obviously, it can only happen when all the 3 issues really come into play together. And that particular thing will cover on the issues on engineering component of the particular building, which is what the National Building Construction Standards talk about that. You know, the very, very important issues will come under the particular thing on that. And the next component that will be coming over there is the issue on enforcement. And that, of course, local bodies, two people, the people who build it, the professional associated with that, they're going to comply with the local rules and maybe using the national building guiding framework. And then enforcement at the local body level are all concerned, whether the municipal corporation or a municipality, or it'll be a fire authority or a lift installation authority, electrical inspection authority. There are different type of inspectorates come for each one of the segments there. Appropriately, their participation will also become equally important in the enforcement. So compliance by the builders, developers, including government who are builders, including all the concerned multidisciplinary professionals, around 18 of them are available there. They all have to play their right role. And of course, the enforcement by the enforcement agents, which are again multidisciplinary in nature.
Yes, of course, sir. Well, thank you, sir. Thanks for your detailed talk about NBCS 2026 and many professionals involved over the period of 2 to 3 years in amending all these things and getting new information. And definitely this will be a guiding document. I request all the engineers, architects, and all the stakeholders to download the NBCS 2026. And you can refer and understand what are the things, new things, and you can implement in your projects. And the knowledge definitely is going to help you to build wonderful buildings, which may be helpful for at large for the community and for nation at large. Thank you, sir.
Not just wonderful. Most important, they should be safe, durable, strong, and resilient. Very important.
Yes.
Equally important, they should also be sustainable from all the services point of view in a very large way, and a lot of climate change agenda coming over there. So resilience and sustainability are two major components which come over there, and the document really gives complete information guidance to deal with that particular thing in a very large way.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your time. And I'm just completing the recording. Yes, sir. Yes.